Hello and welcome back, everyone, to this wonderful, amazing episode that we have in our series that we are running. And today we have with us Diana. Hi, Diana, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Super happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm also happy to host you, Diana. So, we would love to know about you, how you started your journey. We would love to know more about yourself.
Yeah, great. So I'm a Colombian living in Berlin. I've lived in Germany for the last 16 years. I studied literature and languages, so nothing to do with software. And then I found this feminist group teaching women how to program, and I didn't know anything. I thought we were going to build robots, and I was super lost. And then they told us it's web application, and I'm like, what's the fun? And it was super hard for me to get into this, but then I got into this, and at the beginning it was super hard. Like I was feeling there's so much to learn, front end, back end, infrastructure, all the tooling. Then I felt every 2 weeks a new framework was dropped out, and like everybody was rushing to learn it. So it was, yeah, a lot of overwhelm. But with time, I learned to take this a bit more slowly, and I found it genuinely interested me and got deep into some parts. I also learned you cannot know everything for sure, and I really, yeah, really liked like going more into the software and learning how to build stuff and like create something. So definitely I got a lot from this path. On the other side, like my humanist side sometimes pulls me, and that's why I'm in a career transition right now, like looking to leverage the knowledge I got from being a software developer, but also like trying to bring a more human side into it.
That's really amazing, Diana. And yeah, we can not learn a lot of things because there are a lot of things out there, and specifically in the tech world, there are daily a lot of tools and frameworks coming in. Specifically after the post AI era, like things are changing rapidly. So I can truly understand that it's not easy to cop up some day, and that's really amazing to know that you're also looking forward to transition your career. So particularly in which field you want to go deeper? Because I got to know that you are a fellow at Dev3 Pack, so you wanted to go into Web3 domain or any other domain that you're looking forward to delve into.
Yeah, so I got into Dev3 Pack because I was interested about exploring more into Web3, and I found it genuinely interesting. Also, many of the social aspects that this touches, but I wouldn't see my profile close to that. I got interested also because of the developer relations focus. I am not closed only to developer relations, but I would like to have a role where I interact more with humans and also leverage my teaching experience, because I really like enabling people to do something, and I think it's that what I am focusing more.
Wonderful, that's good to know. And as you have an experience in so many things, Diana, being a software engineer, teacher, educator, strategist, so what mistakes have you observed with the newcomers who want to enter into the field? It can be engineering or teaching or anything, and how they could have done better according to you?
Yeah, so some mistakes that I also did and that I observe are people who are newcomers are too quiet sometimes and too fearful of entering a new domain. But I honestly think bringing the background that they bring is sometimes a strength, and not having been there, like if you have been in doing something for many years, there are some things, small things that bother you, but nobody ever got to fix, and then you get used to them and you become like deaf to them. And someone coming new, they still like have this new side, a new idea, and they are going to point at those things if they have the courage to do that, and they are going to bring energy into the team because it's a new eye. So I would say that is a strength that I sometimes see not leveraged by newcomers because they are too shy and just willing to learn from others. But I think newcomers bring a very fresh perspective and should not be too quiet, but also should show their discomfort and ask many questions, especially at the beginning. I think you have like this 3 month grace period where you should ask all the dumb questions because you like are entitled to. And I know you don't want to look dumb, but then it's better to ask at the beginning and really get an understanding and ask all the dumb questions. And if people take them like dumb, it's on them. It's not on you because you're the newcomer and you're showing your curiosity and you're building your mental map of how that works. So, yeah, I would say that for sure. And another mistake that I see often is people relying too much on mentors, maybe, instead of trying things out by themselves because you are afraid of damaging something or breaking something. And I see this time and time again. I also like do some workshops for non-technical women, like to show them some technical tools. And I see that they are super afraid of going, even if you have the AI to help you with, like doing something because what if it damages it? And that is, I would say, yeah, like go and break things and damage the thing, and then you are going to know what is the risk for real having it lived, instead of like getting some borrowed experience from someone else who did damage it and who did have the courage to break it and then to fix it again. So I think those are the biggest learning moments.
Yeah, that's really good. Be bold, be curious, be confident, and ask yourself and damage, then again build and get the experience. Pretty amazing, Diana. So, do you leverage AI in your work, Diana? If yes, then how?
Yes, that's a tricky question because it's a lot on my mind. I think on everybody's mind nowadays, and especially I will come back to that. But with the DevRel University course, we have had some interesting touch points. So I definitely used it. I started using it as a chatbot, like everybody, and then I started getting into these N8N flows, and I taught some women how to use this, and I found it super interesting. And the most recent thing, I created some agents that helped me with my job search and also getting more clarity for myself. And I do have done some vibe coding as well. Like I did this product management bootcamp, and then I did my project fully on AI. And I think that is valuable, but I think the conversation is changing a bit from people are going to be replaced by people who use AI. I don't think you can use AI on everything. And this has been like something I have been discovering. I mean, now it's kind of obvious in hindsight, but especially due to the DevRel University, like I think the difference right now is deciding where and why you are using AI, but not slapping it on everything to produce AI slop, or where we end up all sounding the same with the same words in every interaction because we let AI polish us too much, right? And that's not what we want. So I definitely use it, but I am becoming more critical or how I am using it. And I see people also posting about it, that they are individually using AI and then giving their AI feeds back to the persons they're supposed to discuss with, and nobody wants to read this. So how is AI making us still work in silos and everything? I find it like super fascinating, at the same time terrifying and super interesting, all three in one.
That's insightful, and happy to know that you're learning AI actively, Diana, and you're also teaching others how to use these tools. You're already doing great. Helping others, uplifting others is not a piece of cake, and not many people do this. So I'm really inspired by you. Wonderful. Yeah. Moving forward, Diana, we would love to know how you get to know about DevRel Uni, and so far what you have learned in the program that you would like to share.
Yes, great question. I didn't know about DevRel Uni at all, but I started like doing some networking and informational interviews because I knew I wanted a shift in my work. And I said I don't want to get into something that what I think it is, and then it's not. So I started asking people, like networking with them online, and some very nicely accepted, and we had some conversations. And many people told me do DevRel Uni, and they told me about Bianca. So I was eagerly waiting for this cohort to be open, and that's how I found out, like through word of mouth of people that had a great experience doing it. And what I have learned, yeah, it has been very insightful. Also, it has been very AI oriented because many like developer advocacy and software engineering and adjacent roles are being now, they are changing and pivoting. So this is very interesting. What I have learned, like the biggest takeaway from me from the sessions we have had with Patrick, with Nader, and with Hassan, is build in public, and like start now if you already didn't start. Like all of them have done this, so that's a very big takeaway. And another big takeaway is the taste component that Hassan brought up to. Like, I would say that is my biggest takeaway. And this fascinates me because, yeah, you know, when content can be produced by AI, but then what makes good content? And human produced content, even without AI, is not necessarily good. So how do you figure out this taste? So I think I'm going to spend more time on that. And a part that unsettled me a little bit is that we have seen, I mean, the speakers are great. I have learned a lot of them. They have emphasized move fast, and they have done it in their careers as well. And I have this feminist viewpoints on this also, and I wonder, this is great at the same time because of my own experience, the woman I teach, and what I see. We see that we are more careful. We take more time to evaluate things. We don't move so fast. I mean, I cannot generalize, but it's something I have seen. Maybe it's because society molded us this way. And I am thinking, okay, AI is moving really fast and the men are moving really fast. Maybe there is a danger that the gaps then widen faster because are not used to moving so fast. And, you know, so that is a question that this course or the DevRel Uni has left open for me. But the biggest takeaway is build in public and do it, and I'm going to try to apply it.
Wonderful, Diana. And sometimes what I feel is moving fast is not the solution. Sometimes we have to move slow, we have to pause, we have to introspect, we have to reflect and then move again because everyone is moving so fast that they don't know where to go, and their health and wellness is also being at stake. So it's also important to move slow. If they don't move slow, they'll get burnt out and they'll drain, and ultimately they'll not able to achieve what they wanted to achieve.
Great point. Great point. I also wanted to say something about it, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
Wonderful, Diana. So, what are you building in DevRel Uni? We would love to know, and why so?
Yeah. So I started. This is going to change. I started building. I am fascinated by content, but at the same time, I am afraid of the visibility, if I'm going to be super honest with you. But I said, okay, this is the opportunity to break that and start publishing something. And I thought, okay, what if I take a topic I don't know much about, and then I will approach it curiously. So I decided to take payments because payments are in every place, in every web application. But in my experience as software engineer, I had them from a distance because you always have it, but not, I was never like really creating an integration with a payment system or not. And I also thought this is super interesting because actually now economy moves us as humans, and we have to have a job, and we are always paying. And maybe in the systems, I approached it from a question, maybe from the systems, okay, you have the technical parts and these transactions and whatnot, but I was also thinking what, like what society hierarchies are hidden in these payment systems, or what can you maybe see that you from these transactions, that if you're only interested in the technical part, maybe you would miss. And I wanted to approach this from this point of view, and I started. However, now I am going to give a spin to that, because after Hassan's, I'm a little bit late because I had a lot of interviews this week and a lot of prepping, so I'm a little bit late on that. But I am going to, after the insight on taste, I started reading people who talk about payments and have a nice spin and have taste. So I thought, okay, if I want to create cool content that has taste and has spin, the first thing is to read like the masters and maybe start portraying them and see where did I see taste on them. Because this is, even after all what Hassan said, this is a question I really find super important, and I want to find out for myself what taste is, so then I can try to find my own voice, something like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it perfectly makes sense, Diana. And I believe in you. You will definitely going to do something in it. Yeah, and once it's done, do let me know. I'll be cheering for you on the way. Okay,
Thank you.
nice. So have you faced any challenges in your role, Diana, and how you overcome it?
Yeah, so lots of challenges. The first one that I think I already touched on it is feeling you have to learn everything and for yesterday. And I am still fighting this challenge, but I have learned, as you said, that sometimes you have to pause, recalibrate, and this is what is going to bring more compounding returns. Knowing what is your strategy, what you are focusing on, and not try to focus on everything at the same time, because this is always going to leave you with a surface level knowledge, and you're not going to know anything deep enough. And if you do 1,000 things, you're not going to do any of them right. So this is something I'm still working on, but that's why I said I completely agree with you. Other challenges I have faced, maybe with colleagues sometimes, that they have undermined me sometimes, and even managers, where I brought a technical opinion but they wouldn't approve of it until a man came and said that the same opinion. So I let these things pass many times, but then I discovered, okay, nothing is going to change if I let these things pass. So I started talking about them, but not in a confrontational way, but directly with the people. Like, I felt this happened, so and so, and that made people more aware. And I think it helped. It might not help with everyone, but for me, it did help. And other challenges, like the challenge I'm facing now, where I'm in this job search and I want to switch my job, and it's not, the market is also not so easy right now. Is tied to the visibility one, and it's sometimes like I am getting interviews, I am converting, I'm getting traction, but I am not making it past to these interviews, at least right now. But I am like having some role models, because I have read some people, like they tried, and despite this, they kept going on. So that is really motivating for me. And also having in mind, hey, I am not going to let this interview define me or their opinion of me define me, but continue doing that, and also like analyzing very closely the interviews I had and what did not work there. It's sometimes painful, but try to learn from these mistakes, because if I keep doing the same ABC, how am I going to try to have other results if something is broken there. So analyze it and change it.
Okay, talking more about this point, Diana, as you are currently looking for a job, right? And a lot of people young in their career also wants to get a job or maybe transition into different fields, right? So when we do interviews, we get rejections, right? So how should we deal with the pain of rejection, and what particular approach you follow to land, at least to land interviews, because many people not even able to land the interviews.
Hmm. So yeah, the pain thing, I think it's real, and I think it's a rejection, right? Anyway, you may be prepared for this interview and you put a lot of time on it, and then it didn't work. It's disappointing for sure, but the truth is also you have to look at the market, no? So sometimes it's not on you specifically. Also, many companies are pivoting right now, so they don't know what they're looking for and they change that mid process. So sometimes you can control things, but there are things outside your control. And it's becoming also like very clear on it and knowing that from the beginning. Also, like I think this is difficult, but I think I have gotten better at it. Take the rejections also as data. And yeah, like if it hurts, maybe, yeah, let it hurt for a while, but don't let that stop you, right? Because the problem is if it hurts for more than a day, then you stop taking action. And sometimes the normal way to think about it is if you get good results, you're going to act and feel better. And if you tie, I need to feel better to act. But actually, you start acting and doing and planting seeds, and then you immediately know you are not procrastinating it, but you're taking action, and that makes you already feel better and keep the momentum. So it's super hard, but I am trying to put everything on my calendar and not let a rejection like second guess myself. So yeah, maybe it was not the right company for me, and take that like interview performance as data to see what I need to tweak for the next time. And about getting the interviews, I think right now where everybody's using AI to apply and the companies are using also AI to reject. So the smartest way is not cold applications. I'm still doing them, but I am not putting all my eggs on one basket with cold applications. So I am definitely trying to reach out to people. Not like, hey, give me a referral, but I also want to show up prepared for these interviews, right? Or these possible interviews. So I am trying to find more about the company, the issues they have, if I think I would be a fit for the company and the company would be a fit for me as well. Because if we're honest, sometimes we don't fit the company, and sometimes like we know we wouldn't be successful there also. So also doing this filtering and having a lot of human connection. And then the part that I'm missing and that I hope I can improve right now is the visibility part as well. But I would tell everyone to do the networking, to do like networking has helped me a lot. I would say I have more conversions when I have networked than when I haven't. And to be visible and take the previous rejections as data and see what you can tweak and change there.
Great advice, Diana. It will be really helpful to all the audience that are watching this. And everyone, I'll share Diana's social handles. Just connect with her, and she's amazing. Yeah. Last question, Diana, for you is any three advice and any three mistakes from your life that you want to share with the audience that could help them a lot?
Yeah, so I really thought about this. So three mistake I already mentioned. The first one, not building in public and thinking the work speaks for itself. Also, especially if you're in a technical career like software engineering, you tend to think, or this was my mistake. thinking, hey, yeah, I'm not a content creator, or I'm not a marketing person, so I don't need to create to build in public. And from my perspective right now, I would say, oh my God, little chicken, you were having so many naive thoughts. Like, I would advise everybody to build in public. Also, my second mistake, I already touched on this as well, trying to learn everything at the same time and not pausing to reflect, okay, what am I going to say no to? And what is going to be my red thread? And what am I focusing on? Because for me, for example, I find everything interesting, and that's the problem. I get the problem to focus, but then, as you said, you're only going to end up being burned out, and also not specializing and having a very broad profile. And yeah, you said three mistakes. Yeah, not building in public, thinking you have to learn about everything. And yeah, I would say thinking that the work speaks for itself. Like, you always have to strive for this visibility and try to show why your work is important.
Wonderful. That's really deep and insightful, Diana. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining till then. And thank you so much, Diana, for giving us your valuable time and for sharing all the insights and all the wisdom with our audience. And to be honest, it was a great conversation with you. And I hope people got to learn a lot from you and your journey. Thank you so much again for joining it. And it was a pleasure hosting you.
It was a pleasure also for me, and thank you for having me, Manik.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, and all the best in your journey ahead. I know
Thank
that you'll do
you.
great things.
Thank you.
Bye.